So when I was growing up, unfortunately, my parents had a bad divorce, and so we were being raised by my dad. And let me tell you, I literally get almost hyperventilating. I have to think about this. What is the issue? Hi everyone, my name is Bonali and I am a family life enthusiast. I am delighted to be in your space at this time. Listen, shout out to Life Abundant. I know, listen, these guys helped me. They were one of my sponsors or my funders for my very recent study, and I'll tell you more about that very soon. I'll talk to you about that. But for today, I want to talk to you about triggers. Triggers in parenting. Things that cause us to have feelings of inadequacy, fear of the future, fear that we're not doing well as parents. Some of these fears are legitimate, let me tell you for a fact. I've only been a parent, a biological parent, for the last 13 years or so, but beyond that, I have done children's ministry for about 30 years of my life. Yep, you heard that right, 30 years. And that means that I've interacted with lots and lots and lots of children. In fact, some of the kids that I've interacted with are now parents themselves. So I kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about. This is something that I have noticed, I've seen in my life and I've seen around me, and it is the issue of triggers. What makes you do what you do? So I told you that in a previous episode that I was going to tell you something about cleanliness. So when I was growing up, unfortunately my parents had a bad divorce, and so we were being raised by my dad. I noticed that at other friends' houses, their houses were clean, maybe their moms were doing the work, they had help and all of that. Our house was full. I lived in a house where dad was working, but we had loads and loads of relatives who lived with us. Thank God for that. Thank God he was able to help them out, and today everybody is kind of settled in their own spaces. But I saw that I wanted my house to be like other people's houses, which were clean. I equated poverty with uncleanliness. Well, I still do. I don't like unclean spaces, and I don't like to be unclean. But what I noticed was, now as a mom, if my children just, like, if I enter their rooms, you know how sometimes you can just enter your kids' room, open the door, bam, the bed is not made, the clothes are... I do not like that, and nobody should. I agree, right? We should tell our children to keep clean, and I still maintain that. In fact, I devised a new method where you get merits for doing certain things in the house, and you get demerits, and if your demerits get to a certain point, your privileges are out. That's me. But let's go back to my story. One day, I had to think about this. Let me tell you, I literally get almost hyperventilated. I have to think about this. What is the issue? And then it occurred to me. It traces back to my childhood when I made up my mind that nobody's going to a house and say, oh, shame, the house is so unclean because they don't have a mom who lives, a living mom, a mom who lives with them. And I began to say, I remember telling my sister-in-law, she reminded me and said, Apparently you used to say, we're not poor. Why is the house untidy? We are not poor people. Can you see that? As a child, I began to associate an untidy space with poverty. In my older years, I live here in Johannesburg, South Africa. I have been to places that we call like locations or townships, or where there are shacks, where their income is super low and they are super clean. You got that right. So maybe that also made me start thinking, is cleanliness about poverty? Maybe not. Maybe it's about really who you are. Okay, but that's my journey. But you see what I'm talking about here? I equated something to some. So whenever maybe I'm not doing good with cash, my income is not looking the way I want to, I even get more frustrated because my house cannot be unclean. I am not poor. My kids are wondering what is going on. They don't realize mommy has equated A with B, in fact with Z. So the question I have for you today is this. And you know that there's lots of tears. So I'm not doing it in a constructive way. I'm actually doing it in a, take the clothes, throw it. I know some of you in your mind are like, and you're a family enthusiast. I am. I've got weaknesses. That's why I'm doing this work, so that we can all learn from our mistakes. We can all learn from our issues. We're all great. I've never met a parent that has said, I'm perfect. I've only met parents who are like, I did this right. I did this one. I wished I did better. So for me, parenting is a journey. We are on a journey together. So what have you equated with certain things in your life? Your husband doesn't open the door for you like, my father did that for my mother. It's not really about that. It's deeper. Or, one day I'm going to tell you about my Valentine's Day saga. My first Valentine's Day as a married woman. Now I've been married 16 years. Oh my glory. Did I not flip out? I'll tell you another day. Watch out for the episode. I'll tell you my Valentine's Day saga. But if you really start thinking about it, there are things that you have linked with some things, and that's what makes you stressed out. You are not constructively leading your home or raising the kids. Rather, you are projecting onto them. Parenting, nobody said it's an easy job. Nobody said it's good. There's a song that I remember that you used to sing when I was younger. Nobody told me that the road would be easy, but I don't believe God's brought me this far to leave me. You're not alone. Mary, Mary. Who remembers Mary, Mary? I just can't give up now. Maybe that's for somebody. You've gone too far from where you started from. You've gone far. Your kids are born. They're here now. Yes, you might have made mistakes. Who hasn't? Point somebody on earth who hasn't made a mistake. So I want to encourage you. You got this. Let's get help. For some of us, you actually need to be truthful to yourself and say, okay, I agree, I have issues. Have you met people who have never believed they have issues? They're like, no, me, I'm perfect. It is my husband's fault. It is my children. If only that child can listen. No finger is pointing at you. Auntie, uncle, grandma, grandpa. I love grandparents. Check yourself. Something is going on there. You are not alone. You can't think I can do this alone, so get help. Plug yourself into the right community. There's this thing about having maybe like 5 people in your space. Do you have anybody in your world that you can talk to? I do. I have to. How can I do this parenting job by myself? It takes a village to raise a parent. You heard that. I say that all the time. It's not just that it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a parent. So go for counseling. Come to me, DM me. Let's do family coaching together. Let's talk about where you are, where you want to be, and how you'll get there. Oh, I have people that I talk to all the time. Develop relationship if you're married with your spouse. If your spouse is co-parenting with you, you've got to plan this thing together. You've got to be able to be honest and say, these are my challenges. And wives, don't go to that man in the middle of the night if he doesn't like to talk in the middle of the night. Women, we like to say, let us talk. I've heard that is like a turn off for men. We have to talk. Oh, they either shut down, they're afraid, they're compartmentalizing. Find a way to speak to your partner. Daddy, find a way to speak to your wife. She's not crazy. She's not being unreasonable. Mommy, he's not being anti-you. We've got to work together. The scripture says, can 2 work together except they are agreed. Agreement is key. I'm going to share with you in another video what I've learned about not agreeing with my husband when it comes to the children. I got a rude awakening personally, thinking, no, I know it all. I don't. So today, not tomorrow, today, you're gonna get people that you look up to or that you do life with, you look up to, you do life with, and you also point to, and you're gonna talk to a trusted person. This is something I've noticed about myself. In the last video, I also encouraged you, write it down, take it to God, get books, get resources. I'll start bringing some of my resources. There's a fantastic book, Raising Boys, Raising Girls, Dr. James Dobson of blessed memory now. There are many books out there. That your Bible is there. Your parents are there. Ask them, talk to them. If you have something that is bothering you, still have a parent, go talk to your mom. I know we're Africans, but I'm telling you that, well, I'm an African. I don't mean everybody watching this is an African. Let me please put a disclaimer to that. But I'm saying that I know that sometimes in my culture, people are like, my parents, they won't listen. It's not true. How many of you today, if your parents came to you and said, I'm sorry for ABCD, will not feel that relief? Even if they are dead, you need to find a way to let it go, to deal with it, to pray about it, to get a counselor, to get a trusted friend, to talk to your partner. But today, you're going to find somebody that you can talk to about your issues. You're going to talk to God, and you're going to build a community around you so that one by one, we start peeling off these issues that stop us from being the best parent that we can be. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for sharing. Please subscribe, share, but do something about what we've talked about today. Your triggers can be healed. Be aware of them. God bless you. Until I see you next time. Be well. You are the best parent for your child. Keep putting in the investment. One day, your children will thank you for it. And remember, your family should be enjoyed and not endured. Love you. I'm rooting for you. Take care. Bye.